5 sales techniques to double your sales overnight. Sorry, that's not this kind of video. So there's all these sales techniques that people talk about there. There's plenty of videos. There's plenty of, books. There's all kinds of podcasts and whatnot about the things that you can do to overcome objections and, psychologically trick your customers into buying from you when they don't want to. Well, I'm telling you right now, a lot of those things are not good for your career, right? They may get you the occasional sale, right? But it's going to be one and done. So in the long run, you're going to lose. So today, I'm going to talk about 3 things that you really need to bring to the table to be an excellent, a great sales engineer. And now when I'm talking about sales engineer, I'm not talking about software as a service type sales engineer. I'm talking about equipment, right? Production equipment. You could be an equipment sales engineer. You could be a software sales engineer. The only difference is what knowledge you have as domain knowledge going in that you can bring to the table. And frankly, you can learn whichever one you want, even if you don't know it going in. So let's talk about 3 things that you should bring to the table. So first one, be curious. Have some curiosity. Ask questions. Now you've probably heard many times the great sales engineers or the sales trainers say, ask, don't tell, right? Don't go in and show up and throw up and leave, which is the famous old saying where they mean go in, make your sales presentation, right? Say all the right words, take them from slide A to slide Z, and wow them with all the information that you know. In fact, what you should be doing when you go into those sales meetings is trying to learn everything you can learn about what's the customer's pain point that they're actually trying to mitigate. What is the problem you need to solve? The only way that you can find out is to ask questions. Right? So how do you ask these questions? I'm going to do an entire video about that, but let me just give you a quick snapshot, right? A little nutshell. Take them through the process of their equipment. Ask them questions about everything that you can think about with regard to their day or the equipment that is associated with your product or service. And ask them all the questions that surround, right? Not necessarily just where you are or where your equipment fits. Ask them about the entire process. Take them through step by step. But take my word for it. When they get to the point where it involves your product or service, they're going to really zero in on that and tell you all kinds of information that you didn't even think you could dare ask. So be curious. Whenever I was hiring sales engineers, I would always use curiosity as one of my most fundamental characteristics that I was looking for. You can have all kinds of sales skills. You can have all kinds of experience. You can have a Rolodex that's packed with names. But that doesn't mean that you're a good sales engineer. But if you've got curiosity, boy, you're a long ways towards doing pretty well. So all those other things like the product information and the customer Rolodex, those are things you have to start over with every time you start a new position anyway. So it doesn't really matter. If you're hiring somebody, go for the guys that are curious before the guys that have experience. So number 2, care. Care about your customer. Really, actually care about what you're doing. Now, you may say, well, why wouldn't I care? But you would be surprised. There are so many salespeople out there who only care about what they're going to make off the sale, right? What's my commission going to be? Am I going to make my budget number, right? How much will this help me? Me. I'm telling you, that's the wrong person to care about in a sales meeting and in the profession in general. Care about your customer. If you go into a sales meeting genuinely with the intent to solve their problem, to really get to the issue of what's causing them a heartache, to help them make more money, if you go in with that intent and only that intent, I tell you, everything else is going to fall in place. You're not going to have objections at the end of the day to overcome. You're not going to have any of these other things that people have to worry about with skills, right? Like building rapport. I'm going to do an entire video on building rapport, and it's not going to be what you think. So if you care about genuinely trying to solve their problem, you will probably get the sale. You will probably get the sale. Remember this. Most sales that are lost by a salesperson are not lost to the competitor. They're lost to no action. The customer decides to take no action. They stay with the status quo. If you care about solving their problem and you actually help them see how using your solution is going to help them make more money or solve real heartache in their manufacturing process, you're going to get the sale. Okay. Third thing. But before I go into the third thing, please, if you value this content so far, hit the like button for me, please. It really does help. Thank you. Third thing, have some pride in your job. Take some pride at your work. I know pride has been such a maligned term, right? It's been associated with being arrogant or narcissistic or, winning at the expense of other people. That is not what pride ever was. Pride is that sense of satisfaction and that sense of self-responsibility, right? That says, I care about what I do, right? And I take pride in my work. So when you see a great craftsman making a beautiful and sharp, let's say, sword on a YouTube video or on TV, the reason that a great craftsman does great work is because they take pride in their work. They won't settle for anything less than the best that they can do. That, my friend, is pride. That is pride. It's not trying to make somebody else feel lower than you because you're touting your accomplishments. That's not pride. That is not pride. That's actually something like poor self-esteem. Pride is going to get you so far with your customer. Why? Because, first of all, you're going to go in with more confidence because you're going to be proud of your product and yourself, right? And your company. You're going to go in with a great deal more confidence. And I'll tell you what, your customers are going to respond very well to that. They'll be much more likely to believe the things that you say when you go in with conviction. The second thing is that you're going to do what it takes to take care of that customer. You're going to do the right thing. Why? Because you require that of yourself. You're not going to accept anything less from your company, from your product, and from yourself. And I tell you what, when it comes to getting those long-term sales, right, like 70 to 80% of sales come from customers who have already bought from you in the past. Those repeat sales are what you're really after. And if you take pride with what you do, if you care about what you do, if you care about the customer, if you're curious and you go in there with the actual intent to find out what it is that makes them tick, what it takes to make them more money, and what it is to solve their pain point, you are going to succeed, my friend. Thank you very much. I hope you got great value. If you haven't hit the like button yet, please do. It really does help. Thank you. And check out my other videos. There's many more. Thanks. Hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.